welcome to you all. Thank you for joining us for Reactivated. Now then, what can we see here? Because it's a tiny bit of a bot on the screen behind me and of course on your screen now. It is a house robot. Now the question is, which house robot? The answer will be revealed a little bit later on in the show as we move on to our first heat semi-final of the Fantasy Fight. As you can see here, we have our 4 robots: Razor, Exterminator, Tough as Nails and Chaos 2. 4 robots are now ready to play. Which 2, of course, first, for the first semi-final round, we have Tough as Nails. Tough as Nails there, you can see, will be up against... This is going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Tough as Nails will be Tough as Nails versus Exterminator. So you know what that means, don't you? It's going to be Chaos 2 versus Razor. Now, they were in the same semi-finals in the actual war, in the 7th series. They never fought each other, though. For me, Tough as Nails, the wheels are exposed. Exterminator wouldn't have a problem shredding through the wheels and pretty much immobilising Tough as Nails. I think it'll be very close. At first, Tough as Nails would get the claws in around Exterminator because the Series 7 version of Exterminator, not the strongest, and in terms of pushing a robot around the arena, it was very, very slow, wasn't it? So for me, it would take a bit of time for Exterminator to gradually chew and get to the innards of Tough as Nails. And of course the actual claws, I think, would be susceptible for an attack with Exterminator's disc. So for me, Exterminator is now through to the heat final. Today we are concentrating on the history of a particular robot and its performance throughout the series. For this Robot Rewind edition, it is the evolution of the dinosaur, and that is Stegosaurus, Steg 2 and 3 Stegs to heaven. Now, Stegosaurus in the 3rd series actually came in as a bit of a last minute situation. It was on reserve after T-Rex were disqualified from qualifying, so Stegosaurus got into the war just by a fluke, really. And you'll notice this throughout the 3rd series. Whenever they should have been interviewed by Philippa or towards the camera for the introduction of the fights and the robots, there was no VT because it was a last minute addition. So of course in its first appearance it was against Aurak's Revenge and then Henry 2 in the 2nd round, and by this point we just got an idea and a taste of what Stegosaurus was really about. It was about the pushing power, about the knockout blow really from Stegosaurus. It was the first real pushing robot that we saw in Robot Wars. Was up against Napalm, the veteran. Now, for me, Stegosaurus was very lucky up to this point because it didn't have a Shriek Meg, so it was up against Gravedigger, the only real threat, I think, at this point. They survived Kill-A-Lot and also being toppled over twice. Stegosaurus went through to meet the past champions Beast of Bodmin. The beast was tamed and the dinosaur raged to the grand final, where of course it met Hypnodisc. A couple of hits from Hypnodisc rendered Stegosaurus immobile. That's where they ended their campaign in Series 3. They were going to play for 3rd place playoff against Firestorm, but the damage sustained from Hypnodisc meant that they couldn't get the robot back into the arena in time. So they came joint 3rd place. They came back for Series 4 as Steg 2. Now for me, this is the best version of Steg the Steg team had. It had the flipper. They just maybe painted the robot green so it looked like a dinosaur. But again, they had a bit of a struggle in the first opening against Crusader and Kronos, but in the end they prevailed. They were then against Iron Ore, in the second round, and it was the first time we saw Matilda being flipped in Series 4. Again, Matilda was a bit of a target in the earlier series, before meeting the menacing Mortis in the heat final and triumphing. For me though, I don't know about you, if they hadn't have faced Chaos 2 in the semi-finals, they probably would have got a lot further. Like I said, this was the best incarnation of the Steg machine. Sadly though, it did lose out to Chaos 2. Now, for Extreme, it made one very brief appearance against Tornado in the All-Stars, and that was it. Now, this was the third and final incarnation that we saw, called 3 Stegs to Heaven. It was actually a competition in one of the Robot Wars magazines to name the robots. Of course, a pun on 3 Steps to Heaven. But it wasn't a good machine. Why they felt the need to change this machine, I'll never know. Because, I mean, it was seeded in the 5th Wars. It came back, it was against 11 in the first round. Didn't really have to do much. It was a feat of engineering 11 though, a fantastic machine. Very nearly went out against Tetanus in the second round before meeting the much improved bigger brother in the heat final and losing. Just wasn't a good machine. And that was it. That was the last appearance of Steg, the Steg team in total, really. They did enter Steg 3 for Series 6. They didn't get past the qualifiers, lost to Atomic 2. Apparently it was tossed out of the arena in the qualifiers, and we never saw Steg 3. So there we go. The evolution of the dinosaur kind of went up, down, and then, well, the asteroid hit and Steg was to become extinct after Series 5. For me, like I said, Steg 2, brilliant. The best incarnation of the Steg team, and there you go. Next, we go over to our pit stop trivia section, and this is pretty obvious, stating the obvious in a way, but think about it, the amount of chances this could have happened. It's simply put, no house robot was ever flipped out of the arena. But the ultimate test really for the house robots came in the Flipper Frenzy in Extreme 1, where they nearly, very nearly flipped Sergeant Bash out of the arena. I mean, even in Series 8, 9 and 10, the robots were powerful enough to do so, but never quite got close to the edge, to the fence and flip a robot out. I think in Series 7, Gravity could have easily carried out an attack on the house robots and flipped Shunt out of the arena. They were nearly there. And of course, flipping Dead Metal. But there we go, that's it. Were there any other fights? I'm trying to think of that came very close for House Robot going out of the arena. Let me know in the comments below. For this particular best battle, it comes in the form of Hypnodisc and Bigger Brother. Probably the best ever Eliminator battle of a grand final we saw. Not only that, it was the fact that Hypnodisc were so in control of this fight. They were absolutely annihilating Bigger Brother. And it wasn't up until 2 minutes into the fight that we maybe realised that Bigger Brother could withstand all of this punishment that Hypnodisc was dishing out. Here's where the best bit comes for this fight. I was like this. When I saw what was about to happen, of course, the pit descended and Hypnodisc drove in. Bigger Brother pushed Hypnodisc down, and that was it. Bigger Brother through to the grand final. It was crippled. The robot, Bigger Brother, it was just unrecognisable. And a comment actually from Mechasaur97, it relates to this, because of course if Hypnodisc had got through, they would have been up against Razor. And Mechasaur97 wondering who would have won that fight. Personally, Hypnodisc. They never fought either, did they? Hypnodisc or Razor, they never fought. But for this best battle moment, it's Hypnodisc versus Bigger Brother in the grand final eliminator of Series 5. What a turn of events, what a stunning performance really from Bigger Brother. They could withstand that much punishment from Hypnodisc, sadly ending Hypnodisc's campaign for Series 5. It's an hour and 14 minutes of clips from the First Great War. Now then, it's kind of a bit of a talking point, fighting talk. Why did they only release of the original run the First War and none of the others? Okay, they had videos of compilations from Razor, Chaos doing Hit Disc and House Robots, but they never released any official box sets of series 2 through to 7, up until, of course, the reboots, where you could get the Blu-ray of series 8 and also, there we go, the box sets of series 9, 10 and all of the specials. I kind of copied, and there we go, all 8 of our series are officially on DVD. I was going to say, if you'd like a copy, let me know, but they're all on the channel, so there's no point, but there you go. So I would have liked to have seen this replicated in the actual show. I'd have loved a box set of all of them. Let me know in the comments if the complete box set is available somewhere, I don't know. Let's go back to our bot bit. The answer is the master and king of the arena. It's Sir Killalot. But now we go over to your questions. Well done to any of you who did get that right at home. Let's see, we've got That Robotic Apple XL. Thank you. Great name, great username. Which arena hazard do you think was the most useless? I have picked up on a few in the past. The Disc of Doom, the spikes in previous episodes of Reactivated. For me, the most useless though, Fog of War from Series 10, without doubt. Yes, it looked good, but you couldn't really commentate. There was no action going on. The Roboteers were also blinded. They couldn't really see what they were doing. It was all a bit all show and no go, really, wasn't it? So for me, thank you, That's Robotic Apple XL, the Fog of War, most useless. Next we have ex-Robot Wars addict Will 2, who have put a really nice comments on the channel. So they've added, thanks for inspiring me to create my own Robot Wars series. I have checked out your channel, ex-Robot Wars addict Will 2. Some interesting videos, some good videos. I like what you've done with the toys and the bit of aluminium foil to make look like shunts had a go, so well done, that's inventive. But the question is, what advice would you give to someone creating their own series? Well, listen, if you've got the time to build an arena, if you've already got maybe, well, some Lego, you've bought some of the pullbacks and also the Hexbug editions of the toys, you have a camera and you just have the passion and love of Robot Wars, then just do it. If you've got the space, just have a go. It doesn't have to be a full series, it could be an episode. Just do it. That's all I recommend. Next we have Try Movies. If we did see a series 9 of our series, who would win? Well, as you can see here, yeah, Bot from the Blue has made an appearance with the flipper, of course. Bot from the Blue, I think, would be very difficult to beat in Series 9. Probably will get through to a final, but you never know. There might have been, let's say, a brand new robot, like Bot from the Blue was, to challenge its crown. But for me, Bot from the Blue would maybe be the first robot to retain the title. So thank you, Try Movies. We now have, well, we've had a few from Glamville32, Samuel Lima, and Angry Oliver 06. Pretty much the same theme of requesting a top 10 countdown of pullback toys, robots from the series as well. Stay tuned. We will at some point do dedicated Reactivated episodes for top 10s. Of course, stay tuned for the top 10 battles later on. And also Glamville32 has commented, do you feel like you should have made a robot go further than it actually did in our series? Dan Tomkier, I think I've mentioned this previously, but Dan Tomkier, we never really progressed the robot through the heats, and I don't know why we never did. They were unlucky in some of the fights, but for me, Dan Tomkier, next week, we don't. Thank you all very much for your questions, keep them coming in. Thanks again for watching. Please do watch again. Like, dislike, comment. What would you like to see in a future episode of Reactivated? Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.